Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars chapter 246. Hey, so this video is coming up pretty late on the channel. My computer broke over the weekends, blue screen of death and all that good stuff. I was finally able to get it fixed, and now we're back on YouTube and doing stuff. Anyway, hey, welcome to the video. Let's just talk about Soma 246. And very quickly, I just want to say thanks to the people who commented on the previous video. I should have looked at the names for the commenters, but there was the one person that gave me the link of a really cool link of how the rankings work out in Shonen Jump, or like a tracking of those rankings. So that was, I very much appreciated that. And then of course Midmat, yeah, respect that comment. I thought that comment was pretty good. Just for the quick recap, last time the big gist of that conversation was about if the rankings were affecting Soma's current pacing or whatever. You know, all things considered, looking back at that one, listening back to that conversation, or listening back to that argument, I think I jumped the gun, but whatever. Just, it was a fun topic regardless. Anyway, let's just get into the video. Okay, so 246 covers the process for Irina, and it drops a lot of plot bombs for us, or not plot bombs, but it pretty much gives us a lot of little details that we can kind of jump onto. And then there was the nice thing that Irina did for Megumi, which was nice to kind of have going on in the background. So oh yeah, Momo also had her little moments in here, so I'm just trying to think about how to break this down. Momo, because we started the chapter off with Momo. I think the best scene for her in this one, although like a lot of her scenes or panels were pretty novel, like little segment, or the little, I guess the cover page with her posing in front of her giant pastry or candy dove. I thought there's something cute about that image in general that I think, oh yeah, it kind of captures what the girl's about. But I think the panel that really worked out for her in this one was the panel where she says she's had her cutest whenever she's cooking. I thought that was a good enough kind of glimpse into her personality. I actually really like that one. I like that one a lot. I respect it to some degree, and just it characterized Momo's whole thing. Like, we see her just in this chapter giving away her food to people. We got the little thing with her having a lot of social media followers. We got the thing with her leaving behind a profitable life because she just wants to go for the pursuit of cuteness. You know, all of those things, pretty respectable. Like, this was a pretty full chapter when it came to details, and I am very thankful for that. Moving on though, let's go away from Momo. Like, she's not really the most interesting thing when it comes to the long-term plot, because the long-term plot, or like long-term scheme, was kind of hinted at in this chapter with the lines from the judges, them saying that Irina is the girl that has the weight of being the key to the central, which Azami envisions. And for that one, I'm just thinking, I don't remember anymore. I don't remember what exactly Azami's rhetoric for Irina was. We know her background, we know what she was trained to do, and now like they're saying, yeah, Irina's the girl that's gonna tie together the whole thing that Central's gonna be. And it's just like, okay, well, Central's a unified way of cooking. Only the true cooking happens in Central. Only the best of the best happens in Central. And it's just, I'm trying to think about it. Just what would Irina do? I think, like, you know, the very easy things are things like she's a figurehead. She is an effective judge. She can decide what's good and what isn't. We do see that in like her initial personality. She kind of threw Soma away, not on the grounds of cooking, but on the grounds of his status. Or, you know, she took more of his personality into account in that judgment than she did the cooking, which is why we had Senseiamon come in and veto that. But yeah, you know, I just think her as like the judge and the executioner. That's the easiest thing you could say, right? Because she has the god tongue, the ultimate tasting tongue. Like, what else do you have besides her being the one that decides the rules? What I'm actually very interested about is that the judges are aware of this. How privy are these judges to Azami's plan? Did he like sit with them and have a powwow about what he wants to do with Central? What's the strategic advantage to him telling them that? Or on the other hand, how could they have found out that information are they just well connected in the gourmet world? Are they well connected to the people that Azami's connected to? Like, you know, it's just like, it's not a really big deal. It's just like a question I have. Why would they have that pretty key kind of intel on what Azami wants to do? And I'm not sure if my memories are faulty on this one. If it is, please let me know down below, but it's just like a little thing that I was thinking about. And we also have like, you know, in the same chapter, we have the flashback that this is something that Hisako mentioned before, but she's more intimately aware of Irina's personal life and her relationship with her father. So her knowing or her being able to guess at what it is isn't that irregular. Now, I think the most extreme thing here would be if Azami's going really old school and he's got an arranged marriage and he kind of wants to marry off Irina to some other big gourmet in the world, because that would like give some kind of weird business alliance. That wouldn't be that irregular, that wouldn't be that out of left field. It'd be kind of interesting, but I really do think it comes back to the God Tongue. I mean, the God Tongue is pretty much what Azami cultivated, so him reaping what he sowed, I wouldn't be that thrown off by it. I do like what the authors did though, when Soma was going to ask and then got interrupted. I mean, that's a pretty simple way of getting us like kind of curious about it and then just kind of taking it away from us after dangling it in front of us. Respect to that. Anyway, after that, let's just talk about Irina's cooking. And the biggest thing here is that she used a paste in there that Megumi also used. At least, is that the technical term for it? Well, whatever, we know what it is. We see that little panel where Megumi has her little moment where she realizes what she did. And so, you know, there's two interpretations here, and I found it pretty interesting how people took that scene. Just how they were discussing it on various forums, I guess. It's just, on one hand, you could take it in as Irina is avenging Megumi. Oh, wait, just to clarify, I just like reread the chapter that it was about. Yes, they both made dorayaki. Cool. Okay, they made like the similar dish. Anyway, yes, back to that Irina is avenging Megumi and she's saying, hey, I can beat you with this dish. Like, this dish was a good idea to some degree. And, you know, like, there's that, like, nice little moment, you know, like, your friend did something similar to you that you did, you know, and it validates you. You know, it's a very feel-good interpretation, and probably, like, the correct interpretation, most likely. But there's also, like, on the other side, the interpretation that Irina is better and Megumi sucks, you know. It's just, this is going to be what indicates that Irina is so much further away from Megumi. And like, that's the most harsh and brutal interpretation. It's just the one that rubs salt in the wounds. And kind of on an objective level, I like this interpretation more. Just because it riles up the fandom a little bit more. It puts them on their toes a little bit more. It hurts Megumi, which gets the Megumi fans a little bit more involved. So I kind of like that interpretation. And, well, it's because because in Soma there's a clear skill difference. And because it plays it a little bit realistically with how the characters grow in skill. Little things like this, you know, I think paint them... Well, how do I say this? I think Soma has a more brutal reality when it comes to how good characters are in comparison to one another. Megumi as a character is not going to take any offense by what Irina has done, but this is just one of those things where it's just evident. It's just, there's no way around this. Irina is just flat out better. You know, if the fans were to interpret it and take it as just, this is the proof that Megumi sucks in comparison, you know, it's not an incorrect interpretation to take. Because the Soma victories tend to be more justified by, I guess, skill and experience, instead of shonen logistics when it comes to conflicts. Because it's more rooted in what these characters are learning and what they're doing and how much practice they have and how much preparation they have. This is just one of those issues where it's like, you could argue that, oh yeah, this is a feel-good moment. Irina's just, you know, acknowledging her friend, but like on the other hand, there is still that Irina's just flat out better. And she is showing how much better she is. This is how you execute on the dish better. But you know, that said, moving away from that, those two interpretations, Erina is the master of the Hokkaido lessons, and that we do see that in the chapter. So her being better than Megumi should not be a question mark, and her being the key to the central regime should not make it that strange that she is better than Megumi. It's just, I think, the phrase saying Erina is vastly better or better in general than Megumi, it's gonna hurt people that are fans of Megumi. That's where the problem is, at least when it comes to the way that fans talk about it. I just think I think acknowledging that though makes for interesting conversation. That said, I still like the feel good moment that there was in there, but there's also that slight. Anyway, moving on. There was also the foodgasm scene, which was Erina snuggling two people in between her voluptuous I'm not gonna say lessons. It's they were getting snuggled between her voluptuous thighs. Like, okay, man, that's just that was funny. I found that sequence funny. I found the foodgasm really funny for this one. It's just ridiculous at this point, and I like even Histor's is that how you pronounce his name? Histor? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. I liked his little reaction. He's rather jealous. It's just it's funny. It's just funny little things. And finally, Erina does that little thing where she gives food to her competitor. Erina's gonna break her down. It's gonna be hilarious to watch, and I'm pretty happy to see this little girl's castle just come crumbling down. If the authors make an image of that castle being like destroyed by cannonballs, like the metaphor, I would be totally into that, man. That'd be a great chapter for me, or a great panel. Anyway, yeah, that's the majority of it. I think what I found most interesting about the chapter, aside from the whole thing about Erina being a key, I definitely like the discussion that people had about the interpretations of how you could interpret the Erina using dorayaki event. You know, it was just an interesting conversation that I saw in a few spots, so it was just something, a highlight for me. Anyway, guys, enough rambling. This was a more rambly video. Let me know what you thought down below, and yeah, till next time. I hope you have a great day.